It literally will not stop raining in Washington, so figured I'd make myself a cocktail and make you guys a video. $500 to spend, and obviously I'm going to spend it on my Tacoma. So I figured I would put a video together and list 5 modifications that you can do for your truck for under $500. This video is going to be a little bit different though, because at the end of the video I'm going to have you guys vote on the 5 different options I've presented, and whatever you guys vote for most, I'm going to buy. So be sure to vote at the end of the video. I'm also going to list all the modifications in the description below with links to all of them, so be sure to use those links if you want to buy anything that I've talked about. So option number 1 for your Tacoma is a cold air intake. There's a few different ones on the market. There's a Momentum GT, there's a K&N filter, but the one that I would buy is an S&B cold air intake. And there's a few different places you can buy them, but they're all pretty much right around $300. The S&B intake is still a cone filter, but it's in an enclosure, which is really important because when you go off-roading or mudding, it keeps all the water out of your intake and out of the engine and prevents hydrolocking, which is definitely a bad thing. So that's option number 1, is an S&B cold air intake. So there's a lot of debate on whether a cold air intake is actually effective or not. In my experience, it is. I typically experience a little bit better gas mileage when I put a cold air intake on. For the Gen 3 Tacomas with the 3.5 liter V6, Toyota has their version of VTEC, I don't know what they call it, but around 4,000 RPM, the timing changes and you get a spike in torque. And you can feel it pretty well. A cold air intake, because I had one on my 2016, seems to even out the kind of power band, gives you a little bit more torque lower on, so that 4,000 RPM when it hits, it's not quite as drastic as it is stock. And you know, I like the sound of a cold air intake too. Option number 2 is an ARB air compressor. For under $500, you're looking at the single tank air compressor. There's a twin air compressor which has 2 motors on it, but you're looking at $550 for that. So for under $500, around the $350 mark, you're looking at the single air compressor. For most of us with Tacomas, a single air compressor is going to be plenty. Single air compressor is good for 35-inch tires, and you can air them up in, they claim, 2 minutes. And that's really all you need. I think the twin air might be, the twin air is good if you're going off-roading with other people and you're filling up those tires as well. But for single use or maybe 2 vehicles, the single air compressor is plenty. I found a kit on Amazon for $330 for the compressor. It comes with a compressor, all the wiring, all the electronic components you need, as well as the hose. Option number 3 is Overland Bars and bed stiffeners. There's a lot you can do with Overland Bars. It's a good place to mount different things that you need when you're off-roading, any sort of recovery gear. So we're talking shovels and the traction boards, or a fire extinguisher or something like that. You can mount all those on Overland Bars. My purpose for the Overland Bars would be a rooftop tent, which is something I hope to do this summer. If you're getting Overland Bars, you're gonna put weight on them, obviously, so the bed stiffeners are crucial to do at the same time. The Tacomas, the beds are a little bit weak, especially when you start putting the weight on top of the bed rails. It starts to bow out the sides of the bed, so it's really important to put those bed stiffeners in there. So in my mind, those are 2 modifications that have to be done at the same time. Bed stiffeners are $100 to $120, and there you have a few different options for them. Overland Bars go from $220 to I think around $400. I would probably get the CBI Overland Bars because they have a lot more mounting options, and they're around $400. Option number 4 is a WeBoost Drive Reach. So there's mixed reviews on the WeBoost. Some say it works for them really well. Other people says it doesn't work at all. I think that's a misconception of what the WeBoost is supposed to do. The WeBoost takes an existing signal and amplifies it. So if you're somewhere that has no signal whatsoever, the WeBoost isn't gonna do you any good. But if you have a little bit of service, it's gonna amplify that so you can actually make a call or send a text or use your data. In my mind, it's a safety modification. If you're out in the woods and you have really poor signal, it's gonna help you make that phone call or send a text when you need help. So I think it's a worthwhile modification. The WeBoost drive reach is around $450. And it's something that I wanna do eventually, whether it's after this video or not, we will see, that's up to you guys. But it's definitely something that I want to get on my truck eventually. So option number 5 is lighting. And there's a lot you can do for lighting on the Tacoma. You can do ditch lights, which the cheap end of that is the Cali raised, and I think they're around $150. There's a hidden light bar. Those range from kind of the $250 mark to $400. You can replace the fog lights. Baja Squadron Sports are the most common thing to replace the fog lights with, and those are around $350. Or you can replace the headlights themselves. Tacoma Beast has a lot of really cool options for the headlights with sequential turn signals and the LED daytime running lights and LED headlights and high beams. They're super cool. For me, if lighting is what you guys vote for, I'm most likely gonna get the Baja Squadron Sports to replace my fog lights. I love my current setup. I have the LED, the aux beam LED bulbs in the headlights and the fog lights, and that's plenty for me. But if I'm going to replace something, it's gonna be the fog lights with most likely some amber LEDs, because I don't have amber on the truck at all, and amber cuts through fog really, really well. And fog is just, it happens a lot in Washington State. So that's what I would do for lighting if that's what you guys vote for. So now it's your guys' turn. I'm either gonna have a poll up here. If I can't put 5 options in the poll, vote down below in the comment section and let me know what you think I should buy. So this video is coming out on a Monday, which means yesterday I was in Tahuya with some friends doing some off-roading, so you can expect that video next week. In the meantime, like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to vote. Tell me what my next modification is, and I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers.